Hey, welcome back. It's the leans and the locks and everything else that we can jam in here. We appreciate you being with us. That's the biggest thing, right? You're here on the Odd Shopper channel. You might as well hit the thumbs up button. You might as well hit the subscribe button. Why not? We're going to run through this thing, right? Rapid fire. I don't need to spend 15 minutes a pick because that's when I get in trouble. And they tell me, hey, you're spending 15 minutes a pick. And I can't fill 15 minutes a pick with information like Eric Lindquist can. I just filibuster, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, when is this guy going to stop talking? Like right now. I get it. So let's dive into this. I've already asked you, right, to hit the thumbs up button. All of the good, beautiful stuff. Take a look at what's happening here on DraftKings. It's simple. It's easy. 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And that's how you have it. $5 into 150. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. Doesn't matter. Let's begin. Shall we? I almost feel like I should start the clock. I feel like I'm in 5-5 mode. Why not? We're going to keep this thing a minute to play. All right, let's open up Baltimore, Atlanta. And as you see, we're going under 9.5 total runs here. Why are we going under 9.5 total runs? Well, I mean, we've got Bryce Elder out here on the hill, right? So that's going to be a big one here for us to ride with the away team first and foremost. K-rate is there, decent, 22.5, but we're playing off the walk rate for both of these guys. Neither one, if it's Tyler Wells or if it's Bryce Elder, neither one of these guys have a high propensity to walk anybody. That's a pretty good spot to begin with. Both Elder and Wells have a little concern when it comes to slowing down, I guess, on a run or a streak. And look, I get it. We got 9 runs, just 9 with Spencer Strider. Just able to stay underneath that. How about 10 Ks? My God, my goodness. But early game, as we know, these things tend to fade a little bit on the underside. Let's go to St. Louis. This is a big one here for me, right? Detroit on the run line. We're going to take that. Now, granted, what you saw on Saturday night was pretty interesting from Detroit as they take that 6-5 win on the road. Now, look at them here. Minus 120, and I'm getting 1.5. I don't think that they dominate. I don't think they walk away with this thing, but they just come off a victory here, and that's pretty impressive on the road now where you're going up against Mats, and you're sending, if you're Detroit, Alex Faedo. Now, there's nothing good at all with Detroit's pitching. Nothing. You're just banking on the fact that you're going to outscore and ultimately outrun the St. Louis Cardinals, which is highly possible in this case. Let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, this is ridiculously possible in this case because both pitchers are so bad. Detroit's going to have so many opportunities just to stay aboard. And we love that value at plus 1.5, minus 120, where normally you're laying like minus 150 or something in this regard. Let's move to Chicago. As you see, not much changes with us with the Miami Marlins, right? We talked about this game. It did not hit for us on Saturday, but I'm bouncing right back without question. And if you want to target the pitching matchup, that's fine. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But I think also if you just look at Sandy Alcantara on the whole going up against the Wiz, somebody's going to beat the Wiz. Wesneski's technically, so it's not Wisniewski or anything like that, right? But Hayden is a long ways from Sandy, like this year's Sandy, which isn't dominate last year, Sandy. This year, Sandy, a little struggle out there, but still, this is where Miami can take full advantage. The only thing Hayden Wesneski has going for him is that low walk rate, but Miami here, when you look at them drawing walks, that's not been too big of an issue. It's the lack of Ks for a couple of guys in that meat part or Segura, right, or that lineup where it's going to be tough to kind of K these guys. We move on. Tampa Bay, this is a lean. All right, not up on the board yet. You let me know in the comments what you see. But Garrett Cole is pitching. So that's first and foremost for me. This total could be at 7.5. It doesn't matter. You've got two good teams here. Tampa, of course, right there at the top. But Garrett Cole versus Javi Guerrero. And there's a pretty wide gap between the two pitchers. It would speak to reason here that the Tampa Bay Rays would be in some trouble. And I was leaning New York Yankees first 5, which I still think is viable, and I still think is a play that you should consider. However, I recognize that the safer play here would just be to go under, especially playing to Garrett Cole, the less likelihood of him just getting absolutely shattered. Now, the other guy, Guerrero, that's a little bit of an issue there for Tampa. But I think that's more of an equalizer than anything else. YRFI in the house. Yes. No, that's related for another video. Sorry. We can't infiltrate on that. We cannot combine and cross the streams on two separate videos. Okay. YRFI alert. It's in the house. Which house specifically? Citi Field. Which one of these teams is going to break the scoreless tie, you ask yourself? Of the two, with the New York Mets. Now, look, they just suffered a bad loss at home to the Colorado Rockies. And I think that you're going to see a team with Lucchesi coming out aggressive, but still, this is a guy who is not unhittable or in any capacity. In fact, doesn't have the K rate. Everything else is there. I mean, guys are smashing when they're making contact. And look, Ryan Feltner, especially away from home as we see, let's move. Let's move. This is what I got for you here. All right? Big stuff. That's what I got for you. Big, fancy shit here. YRFI plays. Minus EV to the cows come home, but I love it tonight. Getting after Lucchesi and Feltner, especially after the Mets just got crushed. By the way, I'm just getting word right now as I'm recording this that we just hit another parlay of the day. We just hit another parlay of the day. That means I hit 3 of 6 this week. 3 of 6 on YouTube here for you. It's free. But what's crazy is that you wouldn't take advantage of the Odd Shopper Premium tool. Why? Because I'm using this tool every single time I hit parlays. I'm using this tool. In fact, the video shows you I'm using this tool. Somebody just alerted me on the Discord. Hey, congrats. We appreciate you. No. I appreciate you. That's why I want you to take a free week of this tool. You tell them Large Marge sent you. And if that doesn't work at the front door, tell them Shander sent you. I just, man, 3 of 6. This is crazy. I know. Back to the leans. Minnesota money line. Let's get the Minnesota Twins in a bounce back spot after falling to the Cleveland Guardians in Cleveland. So what changes for us with Minnesota now on the road? Well, it's going to be a little bit of pitching. Cal Quantrill for Cleveland is definitely hittable. That's going to be a problem right now for truly, I would think, the other side of this, which is Cleveland. Minnesota is going to be able to get after this kid. Minnesota is going to be able to do it. Minnesota is going to be able to push, I think, a lot here against Quantrill. And the pitching matchup doesn't necessarily I'm sorry. Yes, it does. Joe Ryan's on the hill. I buried the lead. Joe Ryan's on the hill. What are we talking about here? Joe Ryan's on the hill against Cal Quantrill. Give me, just get me. No, we did that game already. Didn't we? No, we didn't. Let's do this game already. You know what I love about this game? The over. That's what I really love about this game, is the over. But I think we have to explain at least how we get there. We just saw a shit ton of runs because the Jays came out and just destroyed. They cleared this number with the Pirates getting 2. I think there's a little bit more of a regression on both sides, don't get me wrong. But let's look at it, right? You've got Kikuchi on the hill for Toronto. So there's an opportunity here, at least for Pittsburgh, to turn the bats. Rosie Contreras also not striking anybody out. That walk rate is vastly uncomfortable. I don't like that by any means. So what do we have really for us? Well, I think what we have is a big part of this game centering around Pittsburgh getting to Kikuchi. That would be my big thing here. Get to Kikuchi, and you have this over 9. And yes, I believe we can get over 9. Absolutely, we can do this. You better believe that I'm on this sucker at over 9 again, because Pittsburgh's getting me 3 runs. 3 runs, and this is over 9. Cincinnati under 9.5. A little different here, right? Little different here. You know what I love, too, is telling you how much I love shit. I'm just checking, by the way, on the Discord that this thing hit. because I put this sucker out early in the morning, and yeah, it looks like it did. I just don't know why you're not even on the Discord at this point. Shame on all of you. All of you. All right, let's look at this here. Under 9.5 in Cincinnati. Why? Because I think I need a little action here on the Reds. I'm feeling this really with the home team. And I was going back and forth between Cincinnati and the White Sox. Kopech. No, I got nothing for you with Cincinnati on the road. A guy that has a decent K rate, like above average K rate. Graham Ashcraft here, he hasn't been putting it together. Outside, of course, of just pitching to contact, but not necessarily pitching to K, right? So that opens something up here where if you're continuing to pitch to contact successfully to a team in Chicago that's not going to make you really pay for it, I think Cincinnati can be in control of this game, and that's going to dictate, I think, Chicago just kind of keeping at bay. And look, Cincinnati, it's a small park. I get it. That's why it's at 9.5, but they still have to manufacture some runs here. It's not just going to be home run after home run. I wouldn't bank on that by any means. The better play here is just to fade the offense on both teams, struggling in both teams, and recognize that while the pitchers are just not fantastic, the offense is really on both sides not going to take too much advantage of it. Enough, I think, that we would sweat 10 runs. Let's move to Kansas City. A's on the run line. Run line. Why are we doing run line? Well, I think the big thing is because we see some value here when it comes to the A's continuing the momentum from Saturday night. Big one, by all means. You had Oakland walk into town and beat Kansas City, right? Another 8 now 26 team. I didn't want to drum it up like it was something just magnificent here, but Oakland has been dipped. There's still, like, look at that, minus 106 to minus 110. So they're still shaded a little bit at home just because they're at home. But Oakland coming into this game, and maybe it's just the pitching matchup that will convince you. That's okay for me. I don't need more than maybe 1 or 2 metrics. I shouldn't to convince you here. But Ryan Yarbrough on the mound versus just a much better pitcher in Mason Miller. Right now, at least to date, right now, we are going with the better pitcher. All right? Run line on the road. Look at that, plus 152. Put a half unit on it. Lock it up. My God, the A's. Look, Kansas City's in a tough spot. All Yarbrough can do is pitch a little contact, and that's a little too much for me. We go right back to the shit that didn't work last night. Some shit did work last night, but the Philadelphia Phillies were worked. And that's just the God's honest truth of it. There's no way around it. A 7-4 game. We should probably look at the total going over, but we got to focus on the pitching here. And Taijuan Walker is just a hold your breath type guy. The problem is that Tanner Houck is worse. I think the Phillies are able to get to him. Phillies are just hovering right now, too, offensively. You know, it's another disappointment overall because you've got some guys healthy, including, of course, Bryce Harper, but it hasn't been put together, especially against a hotter team in the Boston Red Sox. So we go back now with the Phillies. And again, you can shop this. It's at -1. This is an offensive struggle between these two teams, and I have the home team winning in a bandbox. Simple as that. Home team winning in a bandbox. Disregard that Colin Rhea thing. We're not going to do that. That was blame me because I'm the producer. We're just going to lean here San Francisco on the money line. All right. There's not much going on there in this game that we haven't discussed as far as the series is concerned. We're just going to tail Ross Stripling at this point versus Adrian Hauser. I'll see you at the party, Hauser, because I ain't fucking around. I'm going home squad. I'm leaning San Francisco on the money line with Ross Stripling at the plate. It's an uncomfortable play, but that would be my lean. Under 9.5 here in Arizona. Look at that. We're moving. We're cooking. We're going to keep rolling here. A couple more games, 4 more games, including this one. Stay with me. Discord link is below. Half off your first week. Come hang with Eric Lindquist. That's the best sale point that I have right now. Come hang with Lindy. Here's what I have for you, though. Cousin. Big one. Big one. I think we have an opportunity for us to fade some pretty decent teams or a pretty decent pitching matchup with awful hitting. And it's just a matter of where we are with these two teams in the season and kind of like the inevitability of Washington. But look, you've got Ryan Nelson versus Trevor Williams. Neither one of these guys are really going to stand out. But again, both of these teams at the plate is just disgusting. I can't for the life of me see how we get to 10 runs where one or two of these guys is going to pitch above their expectations. Like one of these guys is going to do it. And that's going to be the bigger difference here, right? Because I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. Under 9.5 total runs. I'm sorry. I was trying to find my wording here and trying to find another stat on the Arizona squad, but I can't find it in time. I'm not going to go back and edit this shit. It's all live to tape for you, so you get the true, genuine me. We'll keep it moving to the Angels. LA Angels money line. Money line. And I think what you see here with the Angels is a little bit of the obvious, but also probably a little more with Texas. Now, let's start with Jose Suarez. This is not going to be easy for LA, but I think the motivation or maybe the real life impact here is that the Angels will have to keep up with Suarez on the mound. Martin Perez on the other side, look, there's not much to look at there. That's great. And that's the difference, is which one of these guys is pitching to a more difficult lineup. The argument would be the LA Angels, right? That side in which you would lean. Less chances to strike guys out, and ultimately you've got Ohtani and Trout, we assume, in this lineup. That's not going to be easy. Rendon is not striking out at all. And then you've got Hunter Renfroe kind of lurking. Doesn't mean that Texas doesn't have a squad. Doesn't mean that Texas can't do anything either. What it means for us here is that the Angels just stand the better chance behind their pitcher, who's not great, but slightly better. And look, they're going to get better pitches. Probably not that at the last statement. Let me reverse that. Or strike that. It's not so much better pitches. It's better chances at the plate. When you're up and the opposing team is pressing, if it's Penn or if it's a guy that's on his way out on the mound, you're going to get some good opportunities to hit the baseball. Seattle on the money line. We don't mess around here. I don't need to mess around here. I think this is a great spot for Seattle. At home, hosting the Houston Astros. And as we await starting lineups and all, Bryce Miller and that limited chance that you've seen him is going to come on against Brandon Bielak. And Bielak is another guy that you haven't seen enough of. So there's a lot of uncertainty at the plate here, right? A lot of uncertainty on both sides. On the mound. On both sides. And I think that's it. That's it. Seattle, I'm just trying to find if there was anything more with these two guys, like, some double-A stat that I can rip here from Bryce Miller. Seattle, right? The K's are there, but we've got hard hits. We've got guys who are hitting for average, and I think that's going to differentiate the Seattle Mariners at the plate versus the Houston Astros, where I'm still not convinced they can take advantage of their circumstances. Last game of the night. Under 8. Sunday night baseball. We're in San Diego. I mean, come on. Let's look at this here. You've got two pretty strong pitchers. Joe Musgrove, who is, back doing his thing. And then you also have Julio Urias, which is a guy that I love banking on to go under. And look, Musgrove was just absolutely shattered. That was that Mexico game, right? Outside of that, and come on, that's ridiculous. But outside of that, in his first start, at least, he's been able to keep this thing respectable. And I think you're going to get that again. Musgrove just working his way back. And on the other side, you've got Julio Urias, which, again, I love where he's at. 28.1 K rate, 5% walk rate. Look at that ratio. It just absolutely stands out. I just love where we are to go under 8 and target both of these pitchers because I think the general concern was that Musgrove may not be fully back, et cetera. The Dodgers going to work him. No, 8 is a fine number for me. 8 is enough. Oh, God, I can't believe I just said that. I'm sorry. I think you look at what we've done tonight. We gave you as many plays as humanly possible right up your keister. So you got no complaints now, right? And I love you for being here. Thank you. Take advantage of the DraftKings stuff. Join the Discord. Take advantage of the Odd Shopper Premium tool. My God, man, this is insane what we're doing with the parlays. All here for you, all right? I really appreciate you being with us. Lindy's got you Monday. Don't worry, he's back. And Eric and I, Monday, 4 o'clock Eastern, right here.